In this video, I'm going to show you the exact process that I use to run profitable paid ads for my gym business. Now, running paid ads on Facebook and Instagram, if you do it correctly, can be one of the most profitable and scalable ways to grow your gym business. But you need to do two things right. One, you obviously need to set up the ads in the right way. And then two, which is what I'm going to cover today, you need to understand how to assess and then optimize the ads moving forward, because you are going to have weeks where your results aren't great, but you don't want to default to what a lot of gym owners do, which is just panicking, switching off the ads, deciding that Facebook ads don't work for me and never revisiting it. And it's just usually a case of you didn't really know what to track, what to optimize, what to change. So I'm going to run through this process using what I call the marketing tracker. And I do this every week, every Monday for my gym. It's also the process that we teach to the gym owners that we work with to help them grow their gym businesses as well. So every Monday we input 6 numbers. The first number is ad spend, so how much money we spent on ads. The second number is impressions, so how many people saw the ads. Then we've got link clicks, so how many people clicked on the ads. Then leads, so how many people who clicked on the ads actually opted in on the sales page and put in their name, email address and phone number and became a lead. And then sales, so how many of the leads actually signed up as a paying client. And then program price, so how much each of those people paid for their intro program, which at my gym is a 6-week challenge. Okay, so in this particular week, this is a week where the results didn't work out that well for us at all. And I'm going to show you that, run you through this, what we're looking at and how we assess it, and then show you the change that we made and what the results look like in the following week. Okay, so the numbers here where we spent £750 on ads, we got 94,500 impressions, so that's how many people saw the ads. We got 183 link clicks, we got 10 leads and 3 sales at a program price of £200. Now, putting those numbers in then gives us a set of results. And the number that we really want to focus on when it comes to the results is not what a lot of people default to, which is cost per lead. I know a lot of ad agencies talk about lead cost and lead volume and getting leads for £1 or leads for £2 or leads for £5, but our goal as gym owners is not to win the game of getting the most leads for the lowest cost. Our goal is to acquire new clients as profitably as possible. So it makes sense to track a number specific to that rather than obsessing over cost per lead. So the number that we want to focus on is what we call cost per acquisition, so CPA. And this is essentially how much it costs in ad spend for you to get one new paying client. So you essentially take your total ad spend and divide it by the number of sales. So for this particular week, we spent £750 on ads. We got 3 new sales, so our cost per acquisition was £250. Then the question we're asking once we've got this number is our cost per acquisition acceptable? Okay, so an acceptable cost per acquisition is when you're spending significantly less on ads to get a new client than that client then pays you for their intro program. So we're always aiming, ideally, to double our money on the front end or better. So to put £100 into ads, get one new client that pays us £200. Like that would be doubling. If we could get the cost per acquisition lower, or we could have the program price a little bit higher, then obviously that still works as well. Now, in this particular week, because our cost per acquisition was £250 and each client was paying us £200, then we would deem this to not be acceptable because we're losing £50 on the front end for each new sign up that we get. So when the cost per acquisition is not acceptable, then we want to try and figure out, well, what do we need to change? Because there are 3 steps in this process that you might want to focus on, 3 steps where you might want to make improvements. And that's, the first one is going to be ads. So are the ads doing their job? Are we getting people to click on the ads? The second one is the sales page. So maybe you're getting a lot of people click on the ads, but when they land on the page, they're not actually opting in and becoming a lead. So then the page isn't doing its job. Maybe you're getting a lot of people click on the ads, a lot of people opting in and becoming a lead, so the page is working, the ads are working, but then you're not actually closing a good percentage of those people, and that would indicate that the sales process is not working. So you're either not following up with people quickly enough, or when you are following up with them and speaking to them, you're not closing them on the phone. So to figure out which one of these areas is the big issue or the big area for improvement, whether it's the ads, the page, or the sales process, we use these 3 numbers. Okay, so we're looking at link click-through rate for the ads. If that's too low, then that's an indicator that people aren't clicking on the ads, so the ads aren't doing their job. Then we use page conversion rate. So if we're not getting leads, even though we're getting lots of clicks, then that's an indicator that the page isn't working well, because not a lot of people are landing on the page and filling in their information to say they're interested in getting started. Then for the sales process, we're looking at lead to sale rate. So what percentage of the leads do we actually then get on the phone and convert into paying clients? And if that's too low, then that's an indicator that the sales process is not working. Like I said, we're either not speaking to enough of the leads, or the leads that we are speaking to, we're not closing them on the phone effectively. Okay, now in this example, the metric that stood out as being the one that was underperforming the most was link click-through rate. Okay, so we had tested out some new ad creatives in this week, and they obviously hadn't worked that well at all, because our link click-through rate was way down on where we would expect it to be, and that contributed to our acquisition cost being higher than we want it to be, because we're getting a good amount of people see the ads, but not a lot of people click, and then as a result, that's resulting in a low number of leads and a low number of sales to what we would typically expect. So they're the metrics for that week. I want to show you then the change that we made to improve the ads, and then what the numbers look like afterwards. Okay, so what we did to improve the ads was we went back through our previous ad campaigns and looked for the types of ads that had worked well, but we hadn't been running for a little while. So when you run ads, you'll see that some types of creatives will work really well for a while, and then they'll start to fatigue. That doesn't mean that they will never work again. It just means you might need to take a break from using those, and you can reintroduce them into ad campaigns later down the line, or you can create new variations of those. So we identified two main types that had worked really well previously that we hadn't utilized for a while. We created new variations of those, and we put those into the new campaign for the next week. Okay, and these were the results after making that change. So we spent £750 on ads again. We got around the same amount of impressions, so 96,000 impressions, but we got a significant amount more link clicks. Okay, so we went from 183 link clicks to 729 link clicks. So our link click-through rate went up from 0.19 to 0.76. And then as a result of that, our lead volume went up from 10 to 39 from the same amount of ad spend. And then our sales went up from 3 to 12. So we quadrupled the amount of sales that we made from the same amount of ad spend again. Okay. Now, as you can see here, the only number that actually changed was the link click-through rate. Like the page conversion rate was around the same, about 5.5%. The lead to sale rate was around the same. So we converted, or we closed, the same percentage of people. We also had the same percentage of people who landed on the page, then opt in and become a lead. But because we were getting more people to click on their ads, that meant that the volume of leads and the volume of sales went up quite dramatically. Okay. Then that main number that we're looking at, our acquisition cost, that came down hugely. Okay, because we made more sales from the same amount of ad spend. So our cost per acquisition went from £250 to £63. So then when we're asking that question, is our cost per acquisition acceptable? Then in this particular week, the answer is yes, because for every £63 we were spending on ads, we were getting one new paying client who was paying us £200 for their intro program. So we were getting a 3 times return on ad spend. So for the entire week, we put 750 quid in. We got 12 new clients who paid us 200 quid each. We got $2,500 back. Okay, so in this week, when the cost per acquisition is acceptable, we don't need to change anything. We just need to continue using that ad campaign in the next week, because everything has been working well. We've got good click-through rate on the ads, we've got a good page conversion rate on the page, and we're closing a good percentage of the leads into paying clients. So we don't need to change a thing, because we're acquiring clients profitably. And then importantly to note as well, we're getting clients that we can then convert into members who will, pay us thousands of pounds on the back end. And that's where we're going to make the majority of our revenue and profits. Okay, so like I say, one simple change just by tracking the numbers and not being blind to what's happening with the ads meant that we went from having a £250 cost per acquisition and losing money on the front end to having a £63 cost per acquisition and being very profitable on the front end, and able to just let this ad campaign continue to run to continue to bring in new clients. And this is, like I say, a process that we use on a weekly basis to make sure that we stay on top of the ads performance and we can make the appropriate changes so we can run profitable Facebook ads for my gym. Now, if you want help setting something like this up for your gym, including the actual ad setup itself, all the copy, the creative, all the tech side of it, and then guidance on tracking and optimizing so you can essentially buy new clients for your gym business and scale up and hit the revenue targets that you want to get to, then click the link in the description of this video and I'll run through in a quick video how we actually help other gym owners grow their gym business as well.